Okay, so I just gotten up, and this night has been rough, rough, and it's pouring rain. So I just wanted to hurry and start so you guys could hear. Like it was like torrential downpour, and then it's been an ordeal because one thing that we've learned about Archie is he does not like the rain. He does not like to get wet. He does not like to get his feet wet, and so yeah, for him to go out and go do I would imagine a quick pee, even though he has done one in the house. I found one yesterday, and I really shamed him. Told him we do not pee in the house, and he just sat there. Just so this morning he's running around, going crazy because he'll go outside and it's still raining. He comes in and he's crying, and it's like, dude, you gotta go outside and go potty. It's been this like, walk. So I'd already started, and then he did it again. So I had to stop, go take him, and I think we finally did it. I think. But sometimes he would go out there, and I would make him get off the porch, and he would just go out there, run. He couldn't get comfortable enough to go potty. He was just running around, getting wet. But he did go out. But I had to be pretty much like, get out there. He may be just real excited and proud of himself, or he may have once again not been able to accomplish what he went out for. I don't know. Remains to be seen, I guess. And then he went back there, and he didn't come out with a toy, so I guess I'll have to check back there too. So anyways, I haven't even been on TikTok yet this morning, so I don't know for sure. Last time it was so fucking rough, and so I wanted to explain something about that. There's a few things I wanted to talk about, so hold on. I just got this cup of tea, but I wanted to start. So, and this is gonna drive me crazy. I keep doing the lymph thing, you know. You get to push all the lymph fluid out. You have to do that all the time. I swear to God. I don't know if everybody has to do it all the time or whatever. I think I've seen those doctors saying you're supposed to do it a couple times a day. But when I put on oil on my face, I always just do a whole big, like, really rub it and drain the lymph. And you can't just, like, push it back to here. It will get clogged up back here, and it hurts, man. This is the place right here where it is, like, sometimes the worst on me. And I don't know, I feel like it's from gritting my jaw. And it's so crazy because I've been so good at gritting my jaw since I was a child. And my grandma, who's the nurse, that one, she would tell my mom she thought I had a tapeworm because I would grind my teeth. And my mom told me this later. And there's lots of, so weird sometimes when you look at some things like from your past. It was something too from my childhood, another thing that I was re-examining. It's just weird when you look at the things and it's like, that is really weird. Like, hold on a sec. So I don't know why she was telling me because I was still a little kid. But it made me have this awareness. But I know I grind my jaw, and then even when they start saying you have the TMJ and stuff, and then you have to get that bite plate thing to sleep in. When I first did those things, I bit right through it, chewed right through it while I was sleeping. And then they gave me a stronger one, and it was so uncomfortable to sleep with. And I have one back. I just don't ever sleep with them anymore. I try and more of use my mind to relax my jaw and stuff. And so I try and notice, like, when I'll feel tension, and then I'll be like, okay, you got to relax, relax, relax. And then feel the muscles. But what I had noticed is it doesn't even have to be where I'm gritting my teeth, which I do all the time, and I make my teeth sore, is the muscles. I've trained the muscles. I do kind of smell poop. Everything is feeling so challenging lately. Yesterday, last night. But yeah, so it was so tight, these muscles. And so they'll get so tight that I think it creates some kind of inflammation and stuff. So back here is where it gets so sore. And that lymph drainage thing here is like you're supposed to split your fingers. And The doctor was saying you do this one pretty rough. And because you do it back here and up here. And so you pull all those. And then man, that was like something was strangling me. And my nose has been just pouring, and my sneezing. It's so fucking ridiculous. Like last night, I was standing here, and it's raining and raining and raining, and I'm standing there looking out the window, sneezing my head off. My nose is just pouring, dripping, and coughing and coughing. My whole face is so clogged up, and this is on 2 or 3 times a day, like 5 squirts of black seed oil. And so I'm doing all my detox stuff, and I'm still getting this. So I just can't even imagine people who aren't detoxing. And I'm sitting there looking out the window, and it's just like, where am I getting sick from? I'm looking right at it, because where am I getting sick from? The dog's bringing this in from outside and just getting me sick because they're getting germs from the grass or something. Like, and I know Stella has got like this same thing. And I know she's always running a temperature, especially now that I have these other dogs around me. And they'll come up and lick me with their cold ass tongue. Stella's tongue is always like fucking boiling hot. Always. And then I was thinking, well, that's probably her body fighting all of that parasites or toxins or whatever you want to fucking call them inside of her. And some of her cysts have gone down smaller. I'm doing a break on the horse base, and I'm just doing diatomaceous earth, and then I'm doing her black seed oil too. And then I'm also doing the bentonite clay on her big sore down here. And it seemed like I was drying it up some, but it still is big, but it seemed like it really kind of made it go a little flatter. And so I did that a couple of times, which I'm going to keep doing that. I made a paste just with water, and because there's a thing too, you can use it like, you can make like a clay mask for your face and stuff. Like, people try all these different things. If you were going to use it as a clay mask, I would say, because you got to also clean your pores. Like, when you're going to do that whole thing, you need to clean your pores. And then if you want to suck it out with a mask, all the rest of the toxins or whatever. And then, but do like a whole thing, if you're going to do one step of it, like to detox your skin or whatever, to clean it, do the whole thing. I don't know. It seems like if you just skip some parts, maybe it would just dry your skin out. I don't know. But then I also, another thing I've been doing, because I keep getting these growths, there's little growth things and they'll say they're precancerous, because all these little skin growths that we get can turn into cancer. That's why it's important to do all that body sloughing that's so big now on TikTok. I don't know if it is everywhere else. African net sponge, every other fucking video. And everybody talking about how, cleaning your skin and all this stuff. So I have one sip left. And so I have been getting these, especially because I've been working on this one, which is getting smaller all the time, which I attribute to just the detoxing and the lymph drainage, to keep moving it. And I've been also really trying to work on these and going across my eyebrows and stuff, and then also where my scar is, and really trying to break up that scar tissue, because I have seen in my abdomen how you can break up the scar tissue and stuff, which, oh yeah, this horrific thing, like, I really do feel bad for like, there really was some stuff that was happening with black people. It was really bad. That I think that those of us who are just living our lives had no idea, and anything that they would say, it was just being shut down. But I do think their medical, the CPS, the DSWs, the schooling, the legal, like, all the shit, man. Fuck. Like, they have been fucking, oh, God. And I haven't even heard this whole story yet. The girl is doing a video now. So we already had the girl, and I think hers was so traumatic. And she's had a lawyer the whole time, is when she was trying to have her baby, and the doctor decapitated her baby inside of her, and she had no idea. And it turned into this emergency surgery thing, and she didn't know until the baby was getting buried. And then she found out, like, the baby came in 2 pieces. And I'm pretty sure. And then there was a lawyer. So I hadn't seen her speak out since the press conference right after it happened, which was months ago. But then this girl, she goes in to have her baby, and whatever with that epidural not working, which I'm very familiar with that because mine was a spinal, but that is, they fucked up back there, and then they created the leak that leaked out all my fluid, and then nobody even thought about it. Nobody even looked. It's so fucking mental. Like, God. Every motherfucking thing that they do to you from the time, and I was a nurse, so I fucking know that shit. And my lawyer was a nurse. That's why she became a malpractice lawyer, because of all the bullshit. But anyway, she ended up getting swallowed up in the system and becoming as corrupt as the system. So she, but the, okay, a second. Because then I have a bunch of medical things coming. So, oh yeah. Okay, so when you, especially for nursing, you had to have like these assessments. You had to have a plan. So you had to go in, you had to see what was wrong with the people, and then you had to have a plan. And there's all these protocols and shit, you know. So, for them to go and do something. So when you go into the hospital, every single thing that happens to you is supposed to be documented, and it's supposed to be followed. There's supposed to be a paper trail the whole time for every little thing, every little poke, every little thing that touches you. People are supposed to go in, sign it, write chart notes, sign off, like all this stuff. Like your chart is every little fucking thing. So for them to not even document about all this spinal, and it to never be passed on a report. I mean, from the very first person, that when I woke up in the surgery, what is that called when you come out of surgery? You hear surgery rehab, but the surgery recovery room. Hold on. So in the recovery room, the lady who was taking care of me, because I always get sick too from anesthesia, and that was another reason why I don't want to have it. Like, obviously it doesn't go good with me. It makes me sick as fuck. And so I wake up puking, and so I remember being awake and her puking and my mom coming, and so isn't that weird too? Well, we were already breaking up because I already had told him he needed to move out while I was gone. I'm pretty sure. But he came up to the hospital, because this is number 3. Because he moved out while I was in the hospital. Because I got out on Valentine's Day, and he had moved out. But I had told him, and he had come up to the hospital one of the days when I was so fucking sick, and he wanted money. Like, the husband's not... Number 2 wasn't like that. Number 2 wanted, like, you know, he was the one who wanted to keep me in his box. But that was the problem, is there's no room for you in somebody else's dream. And so but the other ones, especially 3 and 4, were so, you know, because I made money and I had a good job, and they were just, I don't know. I don't want to say a bunch of mean stuff about them, because that's what I would do. But anyways, then I don't need to carry that around. Like, I got, in the middle of the night, I was in such a bad mood, and I got mad at Max because he wouldn't get out of Stella's bed, so I grabbed him by the sweater and yanked him out of the bed and yelled. To me, it's yelling, but it's to the dogs, I know it's yelling, but I'm just raising my voice. I can't really yell because of my voice. The scar tissue, whatever, on my throat. When I try and yell, because I would try and yell at my kids. That's why I became a door slammer. I try and yell at my kids, and I can't yell because it fucks I don't know, I just can't go and do it. And I'll start coughing and choking when I try. And then, but I can raise my voice and talk snappy. And that most people think like, oh God, you don't have to yell about it. And I think yelling is a lot louder than that to me. But yeah, I am being, because I talk mostly like this all the time. So when I raise it up and I talk really snappy, then it does sound very, and they all just like, I felt bad. But I was so out of it too. I cannot just keep being woke up, and especially while I'm being so sick and my head is so foggy. And sick, I use the term loosely, you know what? I'm so fucking poisoned. But and my head is so foggy and stuff, and so I was feeling so out of it, like I just need to sleep. I need to sleep this sickness off. I need to feel better. And I keep getting woke up, and I know Stella's not feeling good either. And so, I know she's not just trying to wake me up to be mean, even though I know that the motherfucking archons do that shit. You harass your dogs, your cats, other things around you, throw knives at you and shit. So anyways, whatever I was saying, just got tracked off by my hair, because I want to talk about that too, because I think this is day 5 or 6. I don't know. I'm gonna just keep pushing it and pushing it. But that is what I wanted to show, because I was gonna wash it, and then I was like, I'm telling you, I am dragging. It's like everything is like such a challenge. I just feel wore out. And then trying to sleep with this pain thing. Oh my God, like right now, it's like, it just is, I don't know how to explain it. All I can think of it is to say like it's electrical or something. But like you lay down and then you get in whatever position you like to get in to go to sleep. And all of a sudden there's like a pain in my toe. And then the pain just goes and turns into frostbite. And then it turns into frostbite across all my toes, going up my foot and up my leg. And then it's like you have to keep grabbing it and moving it and stuff. And it's like, what the fuck? And then it starts doing on the other side. My elbows, I don't know what the hell. It's like something with my elbows and trying to straighten them and stuff. And I know all this stuff is autoimmune stuff. Like, I know this is your body's overreaction to all the toxins and stuff. But it's fucking hard to sleep through that stuff. And I'm not going to the doctor and playing their games and shit. I know it's a fucking game. So I just got to write it out and just keep detoxing. But it's hard. And the dogs don't know. Like, I'm fucking dragging ass, man. And I am fucking wore the fuck out. And I just want to sleep, and I'm not getting any like really good sleep, because even if the dogs don't bother me, my body is bothering me. So in my throat feels like it's like trying to close up. I have some of that Manuka honey, and I took some of that the other day, not last night. Well, last night it was bothering me a lot, but the night before, when it was really like, oh my God, but I keep trying that honey to try and, but I didn't take any last night. But anyways, that is just all of the sickness or whatever, the poison. And then I don't even know what I was talking. I don't know if I finished what I was saying to begin with. It seemed like I was saying something, and then I got sidetracked by my hair. But anyways, I wanted to show. So this is dirty, and the reason it is dirty is because it's really waxy right now. So what they would tell us, like I heard it all the time when I was a kid, and it would be like, your hair is oily, you need to go wash it. And I don't know, that's I think what they were pushing, because it's really weird when you start going and researching about when did people start washing their hair, when did shampoos come into our existence, and all of that stuff. It's weird. And then they tried to sell us on the shampoo, and when they started trying to sell us on it, they were just telling us, just do it once a month, just once a month. And then it was once a week, and then it was like, well, you got to do it every day. Well, you got to do it every day because your hair starts going into this withdrawal system or something. When you strip it out, it starts dumping the sebum out, and the sebum is like this waxy coating. It's not oily at all, but it gets on your skin and stuff, and you could think like, oh, it's oily, but it's waxy. And apples, even though they put that other wax stuff on, apples come off the trees, because I've seen orchard people talking about, because all these people freaking out. There's wax on the apples. They're putting wax on the apples, which I think they put some extra on some with their poison. Who knows? But you get people who were showing, like, you get the apples right off the tree, you can scrape them, and there's a waxy coating. So there's like a natural waxy coating, I think, just in nature on some things, and our hair happens to be one of them, which to me even shows you more of the importance of your hair as an antenna, as your connection. And it's trippy too, because I was seeing this so much, especially when I lay on my one side. I can feel my heart beating, not pounding, I can just feel it beating, and it's pretty slow. But I have pretty low blood pressure and low heart rate, and your blood pressure and your heart rate will go down the more you exercise. So if you've got really high blood pressure, you got to do a couple things, like, because you need to, because there can be things like you can have your blood vessels all clogged up, is causing tension. It can be you being stressed out. It's like usually all these different things put together. So you got to go at it in a bunch of different ways. You got to do, I definitely, if you got high blood pressure, you need to spend time in meditation, and not just in reflection, because reflection could stress you out more, but you got to spend time in meditation of just using your brain to calm yourself, where you just, like something comes in that makes you feel tense, it makes you feel nervous. So then you take that and you just walk down from it. So you just kind of leave it, is the only way I can figure out how to explain it. And the time that it stands out the most to me is the time when I had to figure out how to relieve myself of my fear of needles. Because when I had started the medical assisting school and we had to practice on each other, I was like childlike. Like, I'm like crying. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to quit school because I am that fearful of needles. And so I had to figure it out by myself. I had to figure out like how to manage it and stuff. So I just started going at it as trying to put it in perspective. If it's a little tiny thing, it's a little tiny needle, it barely pricks your skin. And it's kind of like balance your fear with logic, like talk yourself out of it. And so I had to go through that and figure out how to do it. And then, when you're first having somebody poking you, like, it takes a lot in your mind to sit there and take your mind and shift it away and keep telling yourself it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Because when you are, especially when it's something that you are so scared of. And so I think the first time I yanked my arm like that, but then it was like, okay, I'm going to get myself hurt more. I think the girl screamed, and it's like, oh my God, it was like, but I had to sit there and be, it was like, completely relax and stuff about it. And but anyways, I figured out how to do it. I taught myself how to do it, and then I lost my fear of needles. And then that taught me, though, about fear and about our minds and about our abilities to pull ourselves free from the things that anchor us into fears or, whatever different things. We can pull ourselves free from any of the different things. We can heal ourselves. We can pull ourselves free from their diagnoses and all their shit. You can pull yourself back from the brink of fucking death when you start taking care of yourself. And then you quit depending on them for doing it. So on the high blood pressure thing, you would need to for sure use your mind to, see your heart relaxing. Don't see it as stopping or anything. See it as just relaxing. Slow your breathing. Be more mindful. Take your breath in slow. Don't just... and I didn't realize how many people are mouth breathers. That was something I also trained myself not to do when I was young. Because my first, number one, he was a mouth breather. And I thought it was so strange. Because he was always going around just like... And I had never, It was the first time it really stood out to me of anybody ever. And I think other people in his family, and I'm pretty sure his mom also was a mouth breather. But he was so dramatic about it. And I was like, ugh, man, I don't want to be walking around going, and then it dries out it's like not good for your throat, your mouth, your tongue. Like there's a lot of stuff. We're supposed to not breathe like that. We're supposed to breathe through our nose. So back then is when I started more practicing of relaxing and focusing on taking every breath through my nose and not using my mouth to breathe. And so you can train yourself to do that, because I did it when I was in my 20s. And so now I do it all the time. Like even when my nose is stopped up, I don't start breathing through my mouth. I breathe through my nose. And sometimes like eucalyptus or something, if it's really clogged, you can make some. But sometimes people can't handle that clogged up feeling. They feel like they're not getting enough breath. But that is where you just got to slow it down. Slow it down, because you are. And if you start feeling nervous and you start breathing faster, which makes you feel like you're not getting enough breath. So the more you slow it down and relax. And I have been teaching the dogs this, and they're doing so good on that, because that backwards sneeze thing is some kind of anxiety thing. And Archie's had a couple of bouts still. But as soon as you start, just relax, you're okay, you're relaxed, just relax. Then they start looking at, and they do it. And they figure out how to relax. And then Max has pretty much broke himself of it. I don't think I've seen him do it in a long while. And Archie has only done it a couple times, and I don't know what has set it off. So, anyways, I'm trying to see where he is, too. I think they're all in here. Oh, there he is. Okay, yes, they're all right there. So, anyway, but you can do all that stuff yourself, with your own mind, with your own body, with your own. It's like a forced, what is that word? I can see what the action is. It's like paying attention. It's like drawing. It's like the same thing about when I say about being mindful, just what you pay attention to. So if there's something like where you're like, things like I'm a mouth breather, it drives me crazy. My throat's always dry. It's not good for my teeth. Gives me bad breath. But I always feel like I can't breathe through my nose. And so, because I guess this big mouth taping thing is a big thing. Like I kept seeing, because fucking TikTok's all ads, and I kept seeing people with this taping their mouth. And I kept thinking it was something like girls were trying to fix their wrinkles around their mouth or something. I wasn't sure. And then I saw a doctor explaining about that it is, taping your mouth is so good because it trains you to sleep with your mouth closed. And then he starts saying all the reasons why you want to sleep with your mouth closed. And one of them being spiders will crawl in your mouth. And that was one of the fears that I had way back then, when I was like, I don't want spiders crawling in my mouth either. And that was one of my motivations back then as to why I don't want to sleep with my mouth open. And I'm sure there's been times when I've, passed out drunk and I'm like, but typically I always sleep with my mouth. I just breathe through my nose. And so you can train yourself to do it, because I think I used to do mouth and nose before, but then being around somebody who is so dramatic, I don't know, I found it kind of vulgar. I found it just like kind of like, caveman-like or something. And so I was like, I had enough issues feeling like I was this giant woman. And back, nowadays there's a lot of bigger people. But when there wasn't a lot of bigger people and you're one of them, then it was very uncomfortable, especially as a girl. Because I would go get stuff and I would always think, I'm the size of a small man. I'm a small man. And then when I was like, oh, I could be a medium man. I could be a medium man. Like that ate at me. Like, God, it made me really insecure. So anyways, we all have our insecurities that we grow up with, the things that we have to do to get over ourselves and be able to live peacefully inside of ourselves. So so we all have our own battles. That was just one of mine. was feeling like, and I'm being told in school, like I didn't just come up with my own. It was like being told, hey, Amazon, oh my God, you're an Amazon. Oh my God, you're huge. And stuff like that. And then walking up, like all the kids be standing there talking, and here you come, and they're all down here. And it's like, okay, go. Like, it was rough, man, rough. So, but it was the challenges that help you to develop yourself, not just your self-confidence, because you can be insecure as fuck, but your, I don't know, your ability to accept yourself and like yourself. We all have challenges to it. And so, but when you're thinking about like your health and stuff, so on your blood pressure, it has a lot of different things. And if you have a lot of stuff with, there's a bunch of herbal teas and stuff. My nose was running. Let me find my box. It fell. That, oh, that sucks. Hold on. It just starts running like a little kid. And then you try and be like, okay, it's not that bad. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. And then it's like dripping down. It's like, oh my fucking God, this is ridiculous. Like, what the hell are you guys attacking us with? I know it was in the fog, but it just keeps coming. It just keeps coming. And it just keeps getting worse and worse. And the headache, just the whole cloth. I was like, fuck. God. I wish this Carrington event would hurry up and happen. I do want to go and watch that. Somebody was saying about, in the comments of yesterday's video, I think, a name of a person who has a YouTube channel talking about the Carrington event. And because there's going to be, it's this event that is going to be our pole shift, that's going to flip us the other direction, is going to be very, it's going to be considered a Carrington event. It's going to be, something we look back on that goes in that category with the other ones. It's going to be this like sharp turn. And it's going to be so dramatic. And so many of these people are just don't see it coming. Like, it's so trippy but the blue is such a pull. It's such a lure. It's pulling people to their own surface so they'll be able to see themselves. Like, I could see this playing out so clear. But let me finish on this medical thing first. But there's like herbal teas and stuff. Like dandelion tea is a big one. Like especially if you got anything that they've told you is going on with your heart, get dandelion tea. Just start loading up on dandelions. Like, you can get them and put them in your soup. Like, you can eat dandelions, and but drink dandelion tea, and it starts mending your heart. And I can't say like, oh, I'm gonna drink 1 cup and then I'm all fixed. Like, these are lifestyle changes. This is stuff that you start being on a regular, the reg. You start, my heart has some issues with this environment. Oh yeah, that's what I was seeing too, was about how we come through our soul coming in. It's like, okay, so it's like going through the belly button, like your soul coming through this place, going through your belly button, coming in, and it goes into this space right in here. And that is your heartbeat, is you. It's your life force. And so the ones that have like, that are nervous and stuff, that I think the more that you can learn to relax, like, everything to me is go in a spiritual direction, but don't go in this one that they're trying to lead you in with this new spiritual movement, because I feel like they're just leading people into the opposite. Like, and people will see when things flip. Like, it makes sense in this 3D world, but we aren't of the 3D world. We're of a spirit world. These vessels are this 3D game player, but you're not your game player. Like, you're your game player, but you're not your game play. You're not your game piece. And so you, so this whole thing is like letting go of all of these perceptions and stuff. But on the medical, what was I saying? Ooh, so the medical, the heart thing, the hair thing, yeah. Your hair has this coating that goes on your hair. It's good, but like, look at all of the thing is why, though, where it starts, because it starts sticking together. It starts getting really sticky and sticking together, and then it starts like, I don't know, stuff starts sticking in it and stuff. You need to brush it and stuff a lot, but it starts getting like it just kind of gets stuck to itself. And I don't know, and it gets heavy. So, but I try and let it go as long as possible and brush the stuff through. And I could tell a difference when I start doing that brush, like, because more of this part would have been more drier looking, but then you brush it and brush it and brush it, and you pull that wax down and it coats all this. So a lot of older women, their hair is okay down to here or whatever, but then it starts getting really dry and fuzzy. And it's just because you're not getting enough stuff on it and you're stripping your hair too often. And so on the days when you're not doing anything, like I know a lot of people are still out working and trying to live in this crazy world, but when you do have time off, just try and let your hair go and then really brush that stuff through and get it to coat all your hair, because yeah, it's like but so I just decided I didn't want to wash it before I did it, because I wanted to show what it is like. Like, I like that. The thing is like, I like the texture of it and stuff when it is like this, and it's where I feel like if I could just get used to, because you have so much like body, like where people go put hairspray and all this mousse and shit in your hair. All you gotta do is just let it start getting dirty, and it starts having more, because it's wax. Like, I swear, you should probably dry it and be like, I'm like a wax dirt. So, anyways, I don't know about all that because I've never tried it, but I bet you it would. So, I think what else I was saying, because there was something I was like skipped off of. But I did want to talk about this other thing about this medical, because this, okay, so this kid sickness thing. So there's this kid sickness going around, and it's called this pneumonia number 351 or something. So it's some kind of, they got a number, and whatever. There's all these kids that are getting it, and it's really bad. And so, but I saw this doctor talking, and this is where it's like, okay. Oh yeah, okay. So the one guy in the messaging, he was talking about this channel on YouTube that talks about the Carrington event. So you can find his comment. Then Crystal, she was talking about RFK, which there's some weird shit. Like, I don't know. Because there's speculation that he was cabal and he's gone. Like, when you go back with that Kennedy family, man, what got me was that woman talking about he was the one who was in charge when they destroyed that one town, the Appalachian. I know they've been doing this to these people for a long time. Like, I've said that, I was saying it before this bullshit started in North Carolina. I've been talking about this, years ago on my thing. I don't know, Vortex, you probably remember. But I was talking about the attack. Like, that is where they were trying to lure people out of, to get him to go to the cities and stuff. And it's so funny, because I was watching this movie yesterday, this little movie, and it was showing that dynamic so much. I've seen that in so many old movies. And oh yeah, this one yesterday too. So many of these moms who became like this certain mom, and it's like too much by the rules. Like, you're not good enough. You got to be by the rules. That's kind of like what I felt like mine was more like you were, it was there was a very strong set of moral rules during the generation that we were raised in. That's why it's so weird to watch what they've done over these years. But if you want to understand what they're doing, you just go get that Agenda 29. And it's trippy is because when I was seeing that woman, she was out all over the place talking, who was talking about that. And she was in, it was something like Santa Monica, California or something. In her neighborhood or her city, town, whatever it was the beta testing for the smart bot on the side of the house. And so I don't remember all of this stuff. It might have been she started researching right away, and she was like, I don't want one of those or something. I don't remember. Or if it was once she started seeing what was happening, but people started getting sick and start being cancer, stuff like that. So she started looking into things and fighting and stuff like that. So I'm sure she is the one who it was her who I would see also talking about that 23rd. And and reading it and stuff like that. And it was where they talk about if they have 4 generations that they can take us from this to this. And then I've watched it. I've watched it play out. But so back then, though, you were very shame, anything that was, it was so strict. And I was like Victorian, like I wasn't allowed to lay, like I was thinking about this yesterday, because I lay all the time on my side and I put my hand between my legs, not up in my crotch, just like down by my knees and just lay like that. And sometimes with both of them like this, and I'll lay like that. And it seems like such a natural position to lay in. And I would get in trouble. If my parents came in the room and I was laying like that, I would get in trouble. You can't have your hands between your legs. You're probably trying to be all pervy on yourself or something. I was like, so just weird stuff. Like, so anyways, and stuff that was like natural, and be like, no, you're something wrong with you. I'd be like, so anyways, I was thinking, oh yeah, because that was the thing that was making me think about just weird stuff, like growing up, weird stuff that you would get shamed for. I was like, that is weird. Like you're just laying there watching TV, just in normal position, but then all of a sudden it's like, Woody, get your hands out of it. I was like, what? How am I supposed to lay? Like, where am I supposed to put my arms? So I thought I had him nice and conveniently being held. So I don't know. It just made you be aware and think about things that were like, I don't know. They've always had that gift of making us think about things, like to keep our minds busy, like to keep you distracted or something. Like it's really weird. This world is so weird sometimes. So, well, let me think what I was saying a second ago. Okay, so yeah, with the RFK now, it's like, fuck, I don't know. And there is showing that he doesn't look the same. So it is a different guy, supposedly. But I don't know, because that voice thing, too. But then there's a lot of these ones where it's like, what are they doing about this voice thing? Do they have him speak through something and then they put it through a microphone and it goes into some kind of a thing and they tweak the voice into a certain tone that it sounds like the other person? But I don't think Joe necessarily sounds like the old Joe exactly. But when there's a whole bunch of different Joes, which I think there's a bunch of different Joes, how do they get them all to sound kind of alike? So, because all those different guys would have different voices. So anyways, I don't know. This whole thing is just so weird. There's so much absurdity going on. And it's all part of the show. That's the thing that was really sticking out to me yesterday that I wanted to talk about. It's such a fucking show. It's like, it's embarrassing. It's like seriously embarrassing. It's so fucking obvious and blatant. And there's so many people that just, this is what is their real life right now. This is what they're really going through because they aren't awake yet. And, but everybody's got their own stuff they're going to wake up to. So this is going to be theirs. And it's just as crazy because how far it's been pushed. But so on RK, I don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy. There's people like Elon, and some of these people where it's like, I think they might have been on the bad side, but they weren't comfortable and they wanted to get on the good side. And there was opportunity, but you had to be a double agent. And but this thing has been going on for so long. So, because this was set in motion decades ago. This isn't something they just came up with this plan. They had asked Donald to do this thing a while ago, and it was put into a plan, into motion, to take down these people. And his first attempt was not so much because they couldn't go in and just take him down and arrest him in front of us all, because they had built the whole thing about him being a dictator and stuff, and it would have caused such chaos. And this is why I'm saying I think that the quantum computers told them how some of this stuff would play out, but it would have caused such a ruckus. So they had to, he went in, he was hated by us all. We were all, people were mean as fuck to him. He'd go to the baseball game, the whole fucking crowd's booing him and stuff. Because whatever they're saying on the news was getting us all to be against him. And this is where I'm saying, like, fuck, this guy put up with little, he's put up with so much, like them just talking bad about his hair, his butt, his stomach, like his face, and he's looking young as fuck, man. Is one thing I've seen so many clips from the Joe Rogan thing, is like, yeah, I don't know how people can't see, like, he's, I don't know what it's gonna be. To me, there's minerals make a big difference. It could be the med beds. Yeah, I would think somebody with that much money has probably got their own med bed. But the just that changing in your mind, realizing about the aging, taking minerals and stuff like that, you can make such a huge change. So but I definitely think that it's a part of the disclosures. Like, how's this guy keep getting younger looking? Like, what the fuck is going on? Especially when we had all these other presidents that they turned completely white haired in their first term. And then, and he just looks younger and younger. And I don't know, does he color his hair, or is his hair just that kind of like unusual reddish blondish color, which if you're high on your minerals too, the red starts really coming back into your skin and your hair. So that's why I think, it drains everything out. And I have been loading up on the magnesium, and it's not helping at all with this pain. And that's the one that says about the cramps and stuff like that, and it's not helping at all. Like right now, my toes, like, oh my God, it's so fucking uncomfortable. And so anyways, okay, so Harvey Jr. could be a good guy, could be a bad guy. He has just won a lawsuit against the big, the FARM, and so that's going to be a big release on information. I think there's a settlement. There's a bunch of settlements that keep coming up. Oh, because there's a big one that just happened with all the people who were transit drivers. And it may have just been in one state. I'm not sure if it was federal or what, but these are going to keep going. And they just got, so everybody who lost their jobs from not getting this in 2020 just won a big class action lawsuit, and it went through, and I don't remember how much money it was. I know it had to be more than $1 million. It had to be more like $1 billion or something. But anyways, so all these are going to keep going and going and going, because we're going in a new direction. So when you have doubts and stuff, just pay attention to some of the cases that are going through, because that shows that it's going in our favor. And so that, and they are keeping that stuff more hidden, because they don't want, they want you to feel like hopeless, because they want to steer us into their 15-minute fucking cages. So but keep going and focusing on, like, no, we're going towards freedom, bitch. We're heading to our own piece of land. We're gonna do our own thing, and it's not gonna have anything to do with your goddamn jobs. I'll tell you that. This is a time for people to find their own skills, their own value, the things they're good at, and stuff you enjoy. Like, maybe it's just fucking, like, there's lots of people who just make strange sculptures and stuff. Like, I've seen some crazy stuff. And one guy sold one of them such a huge amount of money. So just follow your dreams. And if it's not the dream that you're here to live, the doors will shut. Your doors were shut. Oh yeah, because I gotta say this one too, because the lady who I had said, the older woman who had broke her foot. And she's always, and she's total silver hair. And back when I had talked to her in the beginning, I told her about the drinking copper and stuff like that. And she was like, no, I love my silver hair. And I don't like my hair dark. Okay. I was like, that is the weirdest conversation. I was like, we're talking about mineral shortage. We're talking about you're dying and your hair is showing you and you like it that way. So, okay. And there's been so many conversations. It's like, but are you understanding what I'm saying? Are you computing? Are you listening to what I'm saying? But people, and I'm going to argue with people. They'll hear when they're going to hear. They'll know when they're going to know. It's not up to me. And there's some people are here to feel the impact of not seeing. Like Mama Todd, like, oh my Jesus, that has just got worse and worse. Like, they've caught her now in all sorts of corruption and money stuff. Oh, Lord, like, that lady's life is blowing up. And but that's one thing that I was shown too, was that a lot of these big accounts, like these ones, big spiritual accounts and stuff like that, there's a reason why they're big. It's because it's a bigger fall. And so don't just trust it because it's a big account and everybody's listening, because there's a lot of big accounts that are going to fall, because it's there. You'll just watch and see. There's a whole purpose to all this. So so hers is fallen. I've got RFK hanging, so on that, because there's something about, oh yeah, because of the sickness thing. So, anyways, Crystal was saying something about him in a comment, and I was thinking about some of the stuff with him too, and that with his family and not knowing, which side he's on, if they're trying to expose him or he's exposing them. It's like some of these things have to play out so we can tell. But on this part with this other doctor that talking about this sickness, this is where I was like, this is some bullshit. And I'll explain why I think it's some bullshit. And then everybody, is like, well, I can be proven wrong. But in my understanding, what they're trying to tell us, does that make sense? And when they put in a fucking guy in a lab coat and put an MD on the end of his name, and then he's talking, right away people submit. And I don't. There's a lot of them, I think they sound foolish. And to me, I think he sounds like, I don't even know if you're a real doctor. But they've got so many going, and because we experienced that before. And I told people back in 2020, when they were telling me that people who don't have any sickness can get you sick. And I was like, that's impossible. That's impossible. No, this is a new kind of sickness. This is a different kind. I was like, okay, well, I went to school for this shit, and that's impossible. Like, you cannot get sick from somebody who's not sick. Like, what are they giving you? What is it? They're just carrying something, and they're giving it to you, but it has nothing. How are they giving it to you? And this is where, so on this pneumonia, these kids, it's airborne. So that's how they're getting it, is through coughing and sneezing and stuff. And then, and airborne, keep in mind, because about people out there driving with masks on and stuff, airborne only can go a little distance. So when it's airborne, like when something was airborne in the hospital and we'd have to go into their room, we would have to put all this stuff on, so that anything that came out, it would get on that stuff, and then we'd have to take it off and put it in the trash before we came out of the room. And so there was, most things can't travel past like 4 or 6 feet or something. I don't remember all the different stats. Like, you can look up about how far airborne can really go, but people think, like, if it's something airborne, then once it comes out, it just is going. No, it'll dissipate. It falls apart. It's only when it has the pure, when there's a bunch of it, it's using, like how I talked about the fog as a carrier agent. So the air can be a carrier agent for the sneeze or the spittle or the bacteria. And this is a bacterial one. So bugs. So it's about this. So the air is a carrier for it to carry, but it's more like throwing it and then it drops, because the air can't just carry it. That's why the fog is used so much, because the fog can carry stuff for longer. And there's so many more people who are, where's this fog coming from? We all of a sudden have fog. It makes no sense. Yeah, because the fog is a weapon. So so when you sneeze out and the stuff comes spitting out, and then it's only if that gets on you. If that shot goes into your eyes, your nose, or your mouth, gets on your face, and then you wipe your face and you get these little bugs, happens to be some bugs, and then you happen to touch your tongue, like, it has to get inside of you. So it has to be the sickness, then it has to be some of the sickness coming out. And so I would say, okay, so we have somebody with pneumonia. Oh yeah, and they do have a new TB that's coming into town, and that one is a very more serious airborne sickness. So that one is bad news if they're going to release that on us, which I'm sure they've already done it and it's already got some people, because these people are nasty motherfuckers. And they keep their sickness in a fucking lab somewhere so that they can pull them out of the fucking thing and throw them on us once more. And I was thinking, like, I was seeing way back, and thinking, like, fuck, man. They're doing this like the plague, all these sicknesses, man. I don't know that there was natural sicknesses. Like, I think when people would eat bad food and stuff like that. Oh yeah, and the carnivore diet is so huge right now. And this is where people have got to realize, like, yes, that when you're going against your DNA, like, your DNA has something it needs. And that's why I've said, like, you got to listen to your body. And all these people who are on the carnivore diet, and it's changing, they're not depressed anymore, they don't have this issue, it's changing all their health and stuff, because they were going against their natural thing, because your DNA is an imprint. And you can see how there's different people in different places, and all they can eat is meat. And so then you go into another life, you can see how that affects people. Like, they leave a life as a boy, and then they go into one as a girl, and all of a sudden it's like, I'm not a girl, hey guys, there's a mistake here, I'm a boy. So it's the same kind of thing, like, when we have imprinted into our soul. And so that's why I say, when you're figuring out your eating, don't determine it like, well, a spiritual person is vegan, so I have to be vegan. No, you got to follow what your body is telling you. And then if you are to go off of that, it will happen naturally. You'll start being like, you'll feel bad about the food. You'll start, like, it will change you. You don't have to do it because Joe over there says that's the way to be a good person. No, you do it because you're on your own journey, and your journey is going to take you where you're supposed to go. So even though it's like all these carnivores killing all these cows and stuff like that, it's like it's all their soul group's journey, even the cows, yeah, all of it. So that is their own stuff. We don't all have to worry about each soul group's own shit. So so let me go back from the carnivore diet. Where was I talking about? Because I'm practically just on a fucking sugar diet. I swear to God. I swear to God, it's just hard to figure out anything to eat. Everything is like fucking poison and bugs and worms and, like, fuck, man. And to me, it's like I keep trying to tell myself, like, about energy and stuff. And, we don't need food like we think we need food. To me, I'm on that tapering off of this concept of what it is that we need. But right now, we still need food and sleep and stuff like that. But I don't know that it's going to be, I think we're stepping away from this because it's all this three-dimensional concept and pull. So I think that we're pulling free from that kind of thing. I don't know. We'll see. Light bodies or whatever. I don't think, I don't know. We'll just see. Because it seems like we would still have food in restaurants, but it wouldn't be like it would be more out of, like, we wanted to go to enjoy it. Like, we just wanted to enjoy. We wanted to go taste something or something. Wouldn't be because, like, we needed it to survive. So I don't know. Because there's going to be so much changing, and there's so much changing about humans and human design, and it has so much to do with our mind and how we look at things. And so, this is just a part of this stepping away from this whole three-dimensional concept, which includes flesh and blood and what flesh and blood needs. So, oh yeah, because I never finished telling about that girl. So, yeah, I went off on my own story of the bullshit with in the hospital, and they should follow every single thing that is done and stuff. But so this girl, so the one had her baby beheaded inside of her. This one, that were having some emergency or whatever, and her epidural wasn't working. She'd been in labor 40 hours, and they took her in to do a C-section. And I haven't heard the whole thing yet. All I know is that I think her husband was videotaping while she was getting it, and she was screaming because she could feel a C-section out of the whole thing. There was no, she had no pain stuff. So she was just being opened up for surgery. Like, I mean, of course, as a dark person, I was like, oh, I don't know. I swear to God. Some of these doctors are so fucking rude. Like, ah, damn, why wouldn't you just, like, knock her out? Like, I just don't understand it. Because you're going, and as soon as she starts screaming, like, I can feel this, they should have immediately, like, that's what they did on me when I went in to get that surgery. And they were doing as I was crouched down in wait for my hysterectomy, I'm crouched down in the circle thing when I didn't want this fucking spinal to begin with. They pressured me and pressured me and pressured me, because that's what they motherfucking do, is come in and try and make you feel like you are the problem. So I finally agreed to this motherfucking goddamn spinal. And that fucking piece of shit guy who is just doing it for insurance fraud. Like, that's so fucking bullshit. But so, and so I'm crouched in the thing, and they're injecting it, and they're asking me, you know, what I can feel, and I could tell something was wrong. Like, one of my legs was going, one wasn't. It was hurting, like, weird stuff. And so I said, no, something's wrong. It's not doing it, like, or whatever I was saying. And then all of a sudden I was knocked out while I was still crouched down. That's not, there's nothing that's like, they don't do that. So then they had to turn me and lay me out and stuff. And and I had my shoulder hurting so bad when I woke up, and that's where I thought, like, I had gotten injured. I had no idea, because when they had done the thing, they didn't just stop with those first couple. No, he did it 6 or 7 times. There was 6 or 7 holes in my back, and none of them worked, and they were all leaking fluid, and that should have been passed on a report, and they should have been monitoring that, and they weren't. Nobody even fucking knew. Here I'm fucking in that, and it's just so crazy, because like I've said, that kills you. It herniates your brain. It's a enclosed system, and it's what is that? It's enclosed system that is, what is that word? It's like you can't disrupt that system. The air then sucks it out. Whatever, vacuum, it's like an enclosed vacuum system, and then you make a hole in it, and the air starts sucking, and then the fluid starts leaking. And then once the fluid starts leaking, then it starts pulling, and then that's what pulls your brain down. And my brain was sucked back up in here. Like, this part was all flat. I've seen the videos or the pictures. So my brain had receded back. So your brain is all up in here. And mine had receded back and flattened, because it's all full of fluid. So it had pulled back and it had flattened, and then it was going down into the back of my neck. Well, that is what kills people. That's when it herniates and it pulls down in there and you die. But you don't die unless you're meant to die. I was meant to live through that. Oh yeah, because I wanted to tell about that. So this other old lady that I've been talking about, who then she went and she fell off the thing and hurt her foot. And what I was seeing is that she wasn't focusing on her health. Everything is always really superficial with her. Everything is about surface level and what it looks like. And, she's like one of those city women who is, I don't know, it's more about the makeup and the hair and the clothes and being seen in the streets or something. And it's just super shallow and superficial to me. And then she's always going on these trips. I don't know, it's just like trying to step into this influencer kind of thing, where I look at these young influencer people and think, like, that's absurd. Like, why would you be following these people? And then, but then there's all these other people who want to be like that. And so she is one of those people who want to be like that. And so, to me, I see that this world is trying to turn us into not being artificial and superficial. They're trying to turn us into being real and honest and authentic and connected and stuff. So, all the people who carry that energy of this superficial bullshit, things are going to keep going wrong for them. Things are going to keep blowing up for them. And, that's how I ended up in the hospital with a brain injury, because that's what the universe does. When you're going in the wrong direction, that's why you'll learn to read the signs. When doors are closing, take the close as a no and go a different direction. And don't just start beating on all the doors. Well, I know I'm supposed to do that. I'm supposed to be this or whatever. Then the doors will open. But then also like on my own words, then you could think like, well, then why are you still doing this? Because it doesn't have that much. But that is where my guides have told me different things about that. Like, there's a whole reason why the things are going the way they're going to go. And so to me, I'm just waiting to see how it plays out. So I'm going to continue going with the energy where it's, they want me to go. And so I'm going to keep doing it and then see how it plays out. And it isn't like doors are shutting, but yeah, there is obstacles. My account's very messed with. And that's frustrating, but that also shows me that, okay, so once the messing with is done, once they're done, then let's see what happens. So it's kind of like, but there isn't doors shutting where it's like, you should be going in a different direction. And I've gone through that experience already. Like I said, I was going in the right direction with my life, trying to work my ass off and trying to retire early. And then I was just shopaholic. And so I had my whole plan, of how I was going to live my life. And it all was going wrong. Every fucking thing was going wrong. And to the point where, I got a brain injury and stuff. So with this lady, so I saw, all this superficial, artificial stuff, that she kept pushing. And when I tried to tell her about her health and stuff, and she was like, no, I like the way I look. And to me, it's like, it doesn't even make sense. But so now she, with her videos, she just keeps trying to do the same things, only, from a wheelchair. And now she's got a scooter. And I was just like, oh my God. It just keeps going in the same direction. Like, nothing is turning her. And that's the thing, is that is what the universe does. Like, when it made her, it will do it with a foot injury. And sometimes you can have it before a foot injury. Sometimes it could be like, you've got to learn how to read the signs, because it'll be directing you in a different way. And that is going to be a big thing for a lot of people. They're going to be like, oh my God, the signs kept showing me and I was ignoring them. That is going to be huge for a lot of people in this awakening part. But you got to learn how to read the signs. And so I'm not living her life and don't know anything. All I could see is like, she's not listening. And so she's on this thing, and she's got all her, her character is created, with the hair, the makeup, the clothes, and she pushes always for, make sure you go to the doctor, do all your medical, get your Botox, get your retinol, all that stuff. Like, that's her thing. Go to these places, buy these expensive clothes, these expensive clothes off the rack from these designers, and so like, all this stuff is like the opposite of like where I think we're going. And she pushes and pushes and pushes on that. And then she was on her trip. She stepped back off of a stair or something, broke her foot, had to go in the hospital, had to get screws put in and stuff. Right there, the universe is telling her, you're not taking good care of yourself. You can't just dress it up and put a wig on it and call it good if your bones are falling apart. Like, your hair is completely white. You have no minerals. What do you think is going on with your bones? And, but, I don't know what it's going to take for her to catch on. So, but when I saw her video and she was just up there doing the same thing, it just stood out so strong to me. It's like, and so many people do that. The universe pushes you, and they'll do it with an injury of your foot, your leg, your knees, your car won't work or something, to get you to click in, oh, I'm going in the wrong direction. They want me to stop going in this direction. Because that's what those injuries are about. Foot, knee, ankle, anything to stop you from going in a certain direction. The universe will play back, and they will cause a problem with that, so that you will stop going in that direction. But now as she's going right back in the same direction. So when you keep going in the same direction, then it just gets worse. Like they're like, oh, you still keep going, so you're not listening to us, so we're gonna make sure, she can end up getting, I don't know, the C word is a big one. Everybody's getting that. And because that's going to dead stop you. And you're going to start really communicating with the universe. You're going to start talking to God. You're going to start listening. So people really, when their health gets worse and worse, it is a wake-up call. And so I don't know what hers will be, but when I saw her just out there spinning on her scooter, just, yeah, the whole thing was so shallow and stuff. And then to not be, like, you would think at this point, if she would have been wanting to go in the right direction, she should have been like, man, my health and my bones, and so we're going to go in this direction of how to build that up as you're aging. And instead, though, it's just like, no, just put on some cute clothes, and get a tan, wear a lot of makeup, and all of that. And it's like, okay, well, this is not the direction the universe is taking us. So when you're trying to go that direction, even if you're building your account up, that's for all those people to also witness who are following along on that journey. So it's going to smack dab them too. So it is, that's why I keep saying, like, these certain things are going to fall apart, and it's going to have an after effect of all these other people. And then there's going to be a lot of people are like, oh my God, I was just following along. And that's already starting to happen, where I'm starting to see people are like just following along blindly, and it's starting to be like, they're starting to feel the effects of it. And that is one of the things too with the Kamala thing. Like, to me, it's so fucking absurd. Like, you could see, to me, I could see the whole movie, the whole program playing out. Like, it's so obvious that it's all so staged. It was all these different things. Like, even the white powder being found. Like, all of these things are so fucking staged. And, when you get frustrated, oh, well, nothing's happening. Why didn't he get arrested? This is bullshit. There's no white hats and stuff like that. You think, no, they're dragging it out because it's going to, either not enough people were paying attention, or there's more things that are going to loop into it. There's more to it. And everything is about all this exposing. But it's also about exposing things to us, because this is all about us. This is all about us awakening. And about our soul has to go through this healing. So so on this whole thing. So for him, the whole McDonald's thing, there's more to that whole thing too. I think it's gonna. And now there's these pictures of her going around, what she was showed that she worked there. And now it's like, no, it's this other person, and they have the exact picture. They just took her face and put it on this person's picture. So they got that exposing thing, this corruption and stuff. Candace is exposing all sorts of fucking lies and stuff about her and her family and stuff. So all of this stuff is exposing all the lies and stuff. That's what politicians do. They just build characters. Like, fuck, if you know the story on Barack, like, god damn. Like, fuck. They even had him go to training. Like, there's this well-mannered man who Barack is playing, is this Chicago, I think he's some kind of business, I don't even remember. I heard him talking a long while ago. Because there's so much of this stuff that is old. Just like the 30, I mean, I was listening about that in 2017. And, so and that's the same with that Barack guy who trained him and stuff. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff. Like, these people are just made up people. They aren't real people. They're just people who are sellouts, who are willing to do anything to have money. And that's what the controllers need, is those immoral people who will do anything for money. And then that's what they'll give you, because it's artificial and superficial, and so are you. So with her, they made this whole big thing of, the people. This is what gets me too. These people who are supporting her, we got Beyonce, Usher, and these the Eminem one too. There's so many people talking about all these different things about him. Like, there's so many people so disappointed and stuff. And I don't know that he's the same one. All these different people. It's just like, it's so weird. But but Beyonce. So her, Jay-Z, they're all involved in this. Usher, like there's so much stuff about Usher. And then she's like, oh, he's going to come and perform. Right there. Right there. If I was still blue, if I was still following, I would have been primarily more probably following the sex crimes because I've had sex crimes done to me. So I always have an empathy towards the people who have gone through those experiences. And so I'm sure I would have been, talking about that kind of stuff with my daughters. I mean, they were all talking about it. Like the Diddy thing has been this huge thing of everybody talking about Bieber. And now there's this whole thing of like, I don't know how they're doing this, but it's Bieber duetting his own self. And so he's like duetting himself, showing his reaction and pain to all this different stuff. And so where it's like, is this real? Is he really doing this? And I don't know, or if somebody else is putting these together, just getting videos of him and then putting these together. It's like, so, you just don't know. But this is all over the place. The Usher and all of these people. And then so she's having these people who are going to go and perform for her. And that is where I don't understand how these people who are supporting her, how that they're okay with that. Especially with Tim. Like the people coming out on him, he is like bad. Like really, really bad. And he's not like a little bad. He's horrible. Like, that guy needs to be in prison. He needed to be in prison a long time ago. But the system covers these people. And then all these people, when you try and say something, they're just like, oh, Trump's already been, they just go in. It's like, dude, they've already taken him to all these court things and stuff. And you know what it is? I'm sorry, but I think it's a big difference when a sex worker is coming out on somebody than when a kid is coming out on somebody. Like, and it's not just one, a whole fucking ton. Because he worked in a school, and so did his wife. And they took kids on trips. They took them home to spend the night with them, like all sorts of stuff. These people are freaks. And well, I'm just going to pretend like that's not happening. Well, that's happening. That guy's a fucking freak. And you want him to have more power in this world? My God. And Kamala, like that woman is like practically slurring her speech the whole time she's talking. And she talks nothing but nonsense. It's like, what are you supportive of her? And then this is part of the show. So, like I had said, I had seen Seth Rogen coming out like, oh, I'm supporting her, I did a whole fucking thing about it. And her, with the weed and stuff, and that's what we need, and weed's good for us and all this stuff. So, and she's so great, she's going to legalize it. And then I guess there was some kind of a thing, which I think it was with RFK or something. I don't remember who was in this conversation. But they were talking about the weed thing and being legal and stuff. And she was all like, oh yeah, she's all on board for that. But just pretending like this other part of her doesn't exist. Because go and look at the old footage. Like, she thought that was hilarious, putting these people smoking weed in jail. She's put so many people in jail for that. And she thinks it's funny. And then she's going to turn around because Bernie was the first one. He was saying, we're going to legalize it. It's stupid. Like, this is ridiculous. And then they were doing it in some of these states. Like, I live in a state where it's legal. So they were doing it in some of these states. Well, then Donald said he's going to do it. Federal, like, it's stupid. It's going to change the classification. So once you change the classification, there's no reason for it to be illegal. And it's changing it because they have it like, I don't know, I think they have it in the same classification as heroin or something ridiculous. And so they are going to change it so it's no longer a crime, and because it's not considered a drug. And so now, Kamala, they're saying, oh, well, she's going to legalize weed and she's the greatest and all this stuff. It's like, no, what are you talking about? She puts people in jail for that. She's saying that because, and how can that be the point of why you're going to vote for her instead of him? Like, that's ridiculous. If both of them are on the same stand on this, which I don't trust her for shit, because she actually has put people in jail for it. He hasn't. He's let people out. So, anyways, when he went in there, though, for that 4 years where we were all hating him, he was systematically dismantling the corporation to get us to this part. Then the Joe Biden years, that was the years of, awakening us, disclosing stuff. There's been so much disclosure, so much showing the corruption of how they send money around, because it's all been in huge amounts. Back in the day, it was in smaller amounts. They weren't sending it in such huge amounts. That was to get our attention. Oh, we're all dying over here, but we're going to send $3 trillion over to the Ukraine. And it's like, what? And so all of that stuff was to get us to pay attention and wake up and stuff like that. So all these different things. And then with her and her weird people who she's got supporting her, and all these people who jump on board. So then she has this big rally, like, because they're trying to make like she's pulling on all these people. And at first I'd seen like, look at it, she's pulling in 30, no, I think they said 60,000 people, 30,000 or 60,000 into this stadium for her rally last weekend or something. And they were, or during the week. So they were like, look at all this crowd, she's really pulling them in and stuff like that. And I'd seen those videos. And I was like, okay, well, that's weird. Like, there's got to be something more to that. And I just can't even believe there could be this many people that are this ignorant at this point. Like work on your TDS, dude. So because the one group is taking us, it is all about I would say, like, this is the thing, we got to quit thinking it's red and blue on this thing between Donald and her. It's that color, but we're not going into this Republican thing. It's a whole new thing. It's like we're leaving the two-party system behind, but it's like we're making a new one. And it's going to be, I don't know, more of a liberalism, libertarian, I don't know, something where we're free. It's just about our being free and smaller government. So there'll be more community government, community rules or whatever. So it's not going to be like the whole world's living by your community's rules, and the whole world's living by your resources. All that stuff is going to be changing. So and it has to do with the manipulation with the money and stuff, and it has to do with what, him going in there and destroying all of their corporation and taking it down. Like he was, what is that called? He was not boycotting. He was bankrupting. He was bankrupting the Federal Reserve and all that stuff. So he was doing all of that stuff. At the same time, he was laying the lines. He was putting information out there that we were going to watch play out. And so he was saying a lot of things, because there was a lot of stuff he said that's been playing exactly the way he said, because it was all this whole set thing. And so then we go through the Joe time, and it's all about this exposing, because it's all about us waking up and seeing things. But it still has so much of what people are willing to accept, and they don't realize how much their biases is being used against them. So, so now we're at this other part where it's just like so absurd. So she goes and pulls in this big crowd, and everybody's like talking about this big crowd she's pulled in. And then he, but it was because all these people came to see Beyonce. So what ended up happening, so everybody thought that since Beyonce was coming, that she was going to do a free concert. Because that's what she's pushing, like with Usher too. Like she has entertainment. Like before she had Meg the Stallion. Like she has her entertainment. So all these people thought, oh, Beyonce, we're going to get a free Beyonce concert. So they packed this stadium, all these people. And then Beyonce came, and this is all staged, I'm telling you. And she came out with Kelly Rowland or something too. Like I think one of the Destiny's Child people. So she comes out and she talks on this stage for a few minutes, and then I guess Kamala comes out, and then the people get all upset because she's not going to perform, and everybody starts booing. It turns into this big chaos. It turns into this big thing, and then everybody walks out and leaves her. And some people were saying it was just like her was the only person even left. Everybody came to see Beyonce, and when Beyonce wasn't going to perform, everybody left. And so it turned into this real big weird thing. So there's tons of videos now of the other part. There was the videos, oh, look, she's just pulling in the crowds. And then all of a sudden it was like, no, it's turned into this big battle. It was just like craziness. And then another part of the shenanigans, this woman who she goes up and starts yelling in some kid's face. So there was obviously, because there was some MAGA people there to see Destiny's Child, I guess. And I'm not sure what the deal was. This woman goes up and starts yelling in a kid in a stroller's face. And then the dad grabs the kid, and some woman who's just standing there tries to, push the woman off. Like, what the fuck are you doing, chick? And everybody is like outraged. And so this was all on video because it's all a setup, because everything is like meant to be. So then everybody is like, oh, who's this woman? Who's this woman? Well, guess who she is? She's an actor for the Democratic Party. And she got paid $4,000 for being there. And so when you think that they're paying like actors to make them look bad, no, it would be ones that would come there to be like, people in the crowd like building up, like, oh man, this is the best thing, that kind of thing. And so, and then they said that she was a part of the organizing or something. But this is all to expose the corruption of these people and this immoral. I don't care about kids. How many things are going to keep being said about this late stage thing? Like one of Beyonce's big talking points, women being able to be free with their bodies makes you free by ripping your baby out before it's born and throwing it in a garbage dump. And so, and all these women cheering and stuff like that, like they've got this part and these women triggered into this thinking. It's so creepy. And this godless way of looking at life and stuff. No point, no purpose, no reason, it's very creepy. But this is the things that need to wake up in the people. Like they need to have that hit hard so that they're like, oh my God, I was cheering for this. And, so, that's why everything has to be outrageous. She's not just talking about, no longer it's not just the raped 6 or 14-year-old by the uncle or something that is desperately in need to get one. No, now it's like, women in 40 weeks that, their boyfriend broke up with them. Well, bye-bye, kid. So this just said it's a very, very immoral way of looking at life. And they've got this part triggered in all these people. They've got all this, fetish, this porn, all this stuff is very much triggered in people. And people have got to figure out how to get themselves out of the trap. And that's what I'm talking about, like using your mind to get yourself out, like wean yourself out of it. And, and stuff like corn and stuff like that, those are going to take a lot of work for the person. But you can get yourself back to enjoying life without having fetishes and weird stuff. It just takes work. Just like if you've got high blood pressure, heart problems, breathing things. If you've got things with your lungs and stuff like that, there's mullein tea, there's teas and stuff that clear out your lungs. So all these different things is about focusing more on your health and taking care of yourself. And that's what that one woman, she would have done that, of being more of trying to switch her account into being healthy, but she's going right back to do the same stuff. It's like when the universe takes you down from doing something, you take heed, listen to or it's going to get worse. The next fall will be worse. And then we have all these people like in North Carolina, and now they're building back some of these places, and it's the mountain people. It's not the government. They're like making videos of like they told us that they wouldn't be able to do this for years and years, and we've already got this road from here to here. So they're going and trying to do that. But the thing is it's going to some of these areas, it doesn't matter if you're going in and building it back up. These areas are going to be gone. And it's your relationship to the universe and what you're doing and your choices that it is going to be your lessons. So much of those games about choices and consequences, and about doing or seeing something but not seeing the other side. And that's the thing that's so wild. It's so wild as so many of these people think it's the MAGA people who aren't seeing the other side. It's like and I always say that the MAGA thing is our new movement. That is the revolution, or the re-evolution, the revival of mankind, the revival of humanity. This is the movement That's why his keeps growing and growing and growing, is because it is where we're headed, into this coming together, and people all being different, still coming together in this movement towards freedom, love, unity, possibilities. And so it's a train, like it is really like getting on the Trump train, and but it's not going to be where we're going all to become Republicans. Like, now we're going to be screwed. Now we're not going to have the Democrats anymore. We're just going to be Republicans. No, it's that was one thing that he was making clear all the way back in 2020, was that the red side was just as corrupt as the blue side, and that he was pulling free what he would call them rhinos. He kept saying there's all these rhinos. So but that is the bird of the two wings of the bird. He came in to break all that shit up and to tell us what was going on in the scenes behind, and to tell us, hey, we can do something different. We can move in a different direction, you guys. Let's all do this. And so that's what the wave of him trying to take us in a new direction. He's not trying to take us into this other side. He's trying to take us break free from the cage. He's trying to get us out of the lab. And so that is, and all of this is like this big show. Even him going on to Joe Rogan and stuff like that, and all of the things that they talked about and stuff. It was to get, and I'm sure that there was a lot of people who probably didn't like Trump before, because I think he definitely was showing a very personable side into that thing, because he is very smart. He's very funny. He's a character. And, but they've tainted him to all of us, and so now is you have to see him. But they've got all this TDS that they created, so people can't see him. So they have to break through their biases to find out why they can't see or hear him. And but anyways, so the movement towards him it doesn't have to do with this voting, and like this 4 years it's all changing. That's all I can say, is everything is changing, and it's not going to be where we're going to have these two parties. It's just going to be a movement towards freedom. And maybe there will be eventually a flag that we all represent, because at this point, like, there's other countries and stuff that use our flag to represent that they want freedom. But maybe we will all have a global freedom flag that will come out of all this, because we're going to be on a global financial system. And then that's with the BRICS, and that's why the BRICS is making all this stuff about breaking down, and that's why he keeps going out with the gold tie, because we're going into the golden age. And it has to do with the BRICS, and we need to not be in fear of the BRICS. We need to be ready to move into this direction, as all this took, because it's been like he's been setting this up to take down these people. And now we're at this part of everything being exposed, but there is going to be this event, whatever this character. And I think there's, something big coming with the skies, the waters, like, there's so many crazy videos of the stuff in the sky, and so many people are figuring out, oh, they're not stars, they're spaceships up there. So we've got all these spaceships. She's not opening the door. She's always pretty good about opening the door. Max and Archie barrel through the door and slam the door open, but she usually just nudges it, goes out, and then the door closes. And then the door closes. But the other ones, boy. So, anyways, they're probably... Okay, I'm almost done, and then I'll make you supper, okay? Look at this face. Look at this pretty face. So, anyways, so don't get caught up in this political system of, well, if I'm not going to be blue, then I'm going to be red. No, this is the fade out of that. The only thing that is even representing is, and now even he's got new hats. So it's not just a red hat anymore. He's got black, he's got, I think there's white and stuff, because we're not going just into this color. It's not like we're not making this choice anymore. The choice that we're making is our sovereignty and our freedom, and he's trying to lead us there, but there's so much interference because the people in charge don't want us to go into that. So that is the thing, is what people have got to see, but they're so caught up in the politics and this other side. And but it's showing all of this other side of the manipulation and stuff. Like having actors and stuff. They're paying people. They're paying influencers to promote things. They're paying people to, uh, and then the people who pay them, the people who are giving the money, then you got to think of like, well, what are these people? Because this is the people who are in charge. Kamala's not in charge of shit. Like, it doesn't matter what the fuck she says. It's who's paying the money is the one in charge. And it's like there's certain factors in politics that some people just seem to not understand or something. Like, it has nothing to do with her policies. It has to do with who's paying her. And then there's a lot of these people who pay, and then because this has been something, you know, like mayors, city council and stuff, like these criminals, they get them in their pocket, and then the people don't know, like they let this guy do them a favor, help them out. And then one thing too is it's all a setup, just like these parties are a setup. So a lot of times they'll set some person up to where they need something, but it was all a setup, and then they will turn to the criminal people to help them out. But then that just gets them in the criminal's pocket, and then the criminals tell them, like, this is the policy, this is what you'll do, this is what you'll do. That's been our fucking movies for so long. Like, if you don't understand that, go watch movies from the 90s and the 80s. Like, that is a very common theme. There's so many themes in some of these movies. Like, they push so many agendas. Like, man, I can't even fucking handle watching any cowboy and Indian movies. Like, it's like, oh my God. Was another, World War II. Like, I can't even stand it. Oh my God, and it's so pushed, so heavy during certain periods of times in these movies. And then they push all in how they want you to see, the information they want you to believe, how they want you to look at it. It's so manipulative. And they've been doing this. Like, this is how our programming works. And so, but all of this stuff that is going on is very much a big show to really get people to see how corrupt this one side is. Once this other guy, because I think he was showing the whole time, like, some of these people, talking about them being rhinos and stuff like that. So I think that he was, you know, putting that already out there into the ethers. So once the blue goes, it's going to be all the politicians. It will show, you know, that both sides were at these parties. Both sides have their own parties. Both sides have been using people as currency and stuff, and using them for parts and food, whatever the fuck. So all of them, this is going to keep being exposed. But that is where you get this stuff that's so outrageous, and people just start freaking out. Can you believe it? But that is why they're doing it. It's so outrageous and so crazy for the people who aren't awake yet. And when you feel outraged and you get so pissed, that is so you can recognize your own feelings, so you can work on them, figure out, like, why am I getting like this? Do I not trust what's happening? Do I not believe it? Why don't I believe it? Do I not think that we deserve it? Do I think that I have no hopes that anything can ever be better? Just go in and look at your own stuff, because that is what you're here to heal, is your own stuff. And that is why some of this stuff drags out, is because we have a lot of stuff to heal. But that is where the things are. It's so crazy, so outrageous, is to get people to pay attention, to get people to acknowledge what's happening in the world, and to question things. Is everything about your awakening has to do when you start questioning what's your value, what is your worth, what do you do with your time, who's taking your time, and are they giving you a significant amount? If that's the only time you have, is that how you want to spend your time? Is that where your time, you know, because that's where your value is your time of being alive. And your time of being alive in this group, in this friend group, and with this relationship angle with these different people, that's a one-time thing. When you come back and you go into another one, any shift is a shift. It's like everything shifts. So, you know, if you can have somebody who's your worst fucking nightmare in this life, and then all of a sudden in the next one you're married to them. So it's not this is the only time. This is your time to get to play these dynamics out. And then they keep you, you know, frustrated and foolish, looking in the wrong directions. and they keep people just distracted and feeling empty. And that is a big part of life, is that they were trying to teach us that we had no purpose. There was nothing, like, it's just this weird, creepy thing that we're even alive, and that we even acknowledge that we're alive and stuff, and that they'll help us, though. They're here to help us. It's like, and there was another thing too that I got of a vision the other day of the trap, of a way of how they could keep people trapped. I can't remember what it was now. There's been a few things that will come into my mind. It's like, oh, I got to remember that. That's so good. But I don't know. It'll come out when they're, because it's hard enough to just try and see the things and keep on track. So anyways, as you're watching this stuff play out, don't get all feeling down and stuff. If you feel down, go into those feelings and try and understand where your feelings are coming from, and keep trying to believe in, this, watching it from this perspective of like, oh, this is happening for us. This is happening so that people can see, so they can understand, like, this is all fake. This is all phony. These people aren't real. They're a bunch of fakes and phonies. And on the sickness thing. So again, on this coughing thing, it makes no sense to me, because they're saying that there's this new pneumonia goes into a person, and it takes 23 days for it to get the person sick. So, before it'd be like, when you get the flu, it'd be like, oh, you had 3 days, 7 days, 10 days. 10 days was a stretch, I think. But usually you'd go around somebody who was sick, and in a couple days you would get sick. And so then they start being like, oh no, you can be around somebody who's sick, who doesn't know they're sick, and then you get sick from them, and then 10 days later you're sick when you weren't even around a sick person. And so this is the part that I wanted to make sure, just use your own mind and think about this. So when the person's coughing and this stuff comes out, it dissipates, like it falls apart, because it has nothing to carry it. So it doesn't just hang out and float around inside the air. Like, we would all be dead at this point if that was the thing. Like, if germs were just floating in the air to kill us, they fall apart. They go down, they fall on the ground, they fall apart. And but when they get on to another person, then, or whatever, they can make you sick. So the germs go and get on you. So you go around somebody and they cough on you. Kids at school coughing on each other all the time. And the parents keep sending them to school because it takes 23 days to know they're sick. And so the kids, but why are they coughing if they're not sick yet? So how is it traveling? How is it getting out of them and getting on somebody else? Where is it, like, so you're saying they're not sick, they're not coughing, they're not sneezing, it's airborne. So how is it becoming airborne to travel to the next person if this person's not sick yet? Because they're saying that in this 23 days that this person is not sick, that they can get everybody else sick. Well, this is a common theme that we heard back in 2020. It's just fucking bullshit nonsense. It makes no sense to me. How is somebody who is not sick getting people sick? That doesn't make any sense. So to me, maybe I sound crazy to some people, but to me, I think, just think it through. Like, seriously, if you're not sick and you're not coughing and you're not sneezing, and you have been around somebody who was, they cough and sneeze on you, you get their germs. Their germs take 23 days, almost a month inside of you to get strong enough to make you sick. But somehow along the way, even though you're not sick and you're not coughing out and sneezing out anything, that you're getting other people sick. Like, and for a doctor to even say that, it's like, that doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. Like, are you thinking it through? And I haven't even finished listening to his thing. There's so many things where the people start talking about stuff and it sounds so ridiculous to me. It's just like, I can't even fucking finish it. It's like, because it's just going to piss me off. It's going to make my blood pressure go up. Oh yeah, because it was like, because the soul comes in through your belly button, goes in. Your heart beating is your life force. Your way to see out is through your vision. Your senses is so you can feel your environment. You can smell your environment. You can taste your environment, because that is your connection to your environment. And we got to get more into this part of our connection. They distract us and pull us out of our part of our natural connection. They pull us out, but and then you have your third eye and all of this stuff that goes together for your processing system, your antenna, your processing system, so you can process this reality, and you can look at it through different lenses and different ways of seeing. And so all of these different things, when they're talking about your health and stuff, that is where people got to focus on their health, taking care of them, changing their lifestyle, and being more just living more of a healthy lifestyle, and feeling like that you can live a healthy lifestyle, that it will make a difference, that lifestyle actually makes a difference over your health. And but anyways, I was just seeing something about like your soul and your light and how that whole thing works. So it goes in there. Your soul is like around in here, because they figured out how to move our consciousness and how to take it. And your consciousness isn't in here, it's in here. It's like, it is your heartbeat. It's your power pulse or something. That is your soul being alive inside of you. And then this all is like your like a submarine has that thing that comes up and looks out. That's what this is like. This is like our thing to be able to see outside of the ship, if you get what I'm saying. So anyways, I just had to throw that in there because I was seeing that. It was kind of cool how I saw it. So anyways, I don't know if it's as cool explaining how it is, but it looks cool to see it. So anyways, Stella's gonna keep shaking her head, and I'm gonna go make them some food. And let me think if there was something else. It seems like that there's always a bunch of other things, but everything is this, everything is this stuff playing out. Like right now, everything is to play out to show us the truth, to get us to pay attention, to get us to see, because every single thing happening on this planet right now is all this grand awakening. It is this pulling, it's like liberating humanity out of the lab and into living free. And so that's what everything has to do with. It has nothing to do with all of the stuff they're using to wake us up. It has, but that is to show us this world that we were attached to, and how evil and dark it really was. And there's a lot about that, So anyways, that's what's still going on, and we still have this event, because there's still something that is going to happen that is going to be so fabulous. It's going to flip everything the other direction. It's the actual pole shifting. It's this energetic shift, which I believe it's us that's creating it by our awakening and our attitude and our ways of looking at things, and our changing directions is what changes things' directions. And so we are what causes the flip. It's like all of our energy running and doing this big flip at the same time is going to flip us. And we're going to flip and go this other direction. And it's going to be so good for so many people. I'm telling you, it's going to feel so good to be going the other direction. And then, but for other people who are going so hard on this one direction, it's going to hurt. Like they're going to hit hard. So anyways, and through those stuff of us learning to be more compassionate and caring is going to be a necessity when we start seeing how it's going to affect these other people. Because I think that some of these people have been going around saying all these stupid assholes, these ignorant NPCs, they're this and that and stuff. I think that they are going to be hit hard when they see how devastating this is going to be for people. At first, they may come back, well, you stupid ass shit, but that only shows your bitterness, your coldness, your anger, your hostility. That's what's coming to the surface there when you are going in on somebody like that, when you're curb stomping somebody who's down. So, think about like when your reaction or overreaction, where is it coming from? What in you is so angry and so bitter and so mad? Because that's what you got to release. That's what you got to let go of. And this is pushing us to let go of that stuff. And they're going to be pushed. Everybody's going to be pushed to be, even, people who have 13 million followers. And then they get found out for being corrupt as a motherfucker and fake as fuck. Like, everything is falling apart, and all the things that are fake and phony and artificial and whatever you have attached to in that realm is going to fall apart. So just pay attention, you know, start just detaching. That's what I've been doing throughout this thing, is just detaching from this stuff, because I know it's going to yank people. It's going to hurt because they're trying to, you know, hold on. They're trying to give this uh, compression. They're trying to do CPR on this life that we were living. It's like, nope, that life is over. The life we were living, that is played out. It's done. The foundation our existence was built on was fake and phony, and it's falling apart. There's nothing substantial. And that's why we will land on what is real, the ground, our earth, our, you know, where we belong. So, and that's where we will begin to build back, and it will be this stuff, build back better and stuff like that, is going to be our stuff that's going to move forward. There's going to be this whole quantum thing. There's going to be this, because we are going to build the world that we want after we get through all of this stuff. And there still is this big thing that's is like hanging over us. And the only thing is that there's so many disasters happening, where there's so many people in crises. You think like, God, how much worse is it going to get? I don't know. Because it can be something as simple as, you know, all of a sudden we think we're about to be nuked and everybody's got 10 minutes to live. And that will be very significant. You know, that will really fucking... So, you know, we don't know what it's going to be. We just got to trust the universe that there's a real big reason, there's a real big point, that whenever it goes down, however it goes, that there's reason. So I just say the whole time, you know, we just got to stay prepared. Can you believe it is still fucking just pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring? My yard, when I started, it was already a pond. It was already a pool out there. The water is already so deep in my whole driveway, and then it pools down here. So, and the wood guy is supposed to be bringing a whole cord today. There's going to be so much wood to move in this shithouse weather. I moved a bunch yesterday to try and hopefully he'll stack some up, but still, there's going to be so much more. I'll have to do some. Anyways, just remember, everything... I just can't believe how shitty I feel in my head. It's like, all I want to do is just crawl into a bed and just sleep for a fucking month and wake up and have everything be changed. Oh my God, I'm so sick of this shit. So, just remember what we're doing here. We're learning how to love ourselves, love everyone, and how to have a loving day, because it is up to you. And you do have control. And so, anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.